communication is key. We are taking care of their home. We're protecting a massive asset for them. So that communication of, hey, we're going to be preventative. We like to be precautionary. We start our hurricane preparations for our homeowners. We have thorough checklists that we share with the homeowners. If there's anything specific, they can add into it. We take photos before, so that way if they need them for insurance purposes, we try to cover every base we could potentially think of that they may need.
Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. This is your essential playbook to grow and scale your vacation rental business with advice and insights from the best in the biz. I'm your host, Lynell Gordon. Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. I'm Lynell Gordon, your host. And today I'm really excited to bring to you someone who is from Boca Grande, Florida. I don't know how competitive your area is, but I imagine it's pretty darn competitive there, right there in Florida.
It is. And our market is pretty boutique, I would say is the best word for it. It's a very small island. We're 7 miles long, 3/4 of a mile wide. So it's a small island. We have just a few companies on the island. So our competitors are also close friends. So it makes it a little bit trying, but it is a really, really competitive market.
So Casey Alderman's been the property manager at Parsley-Baldwin for 2 years. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about advice that she would give to property managers to help them grow their business.
So there's a lot of advice because it all comes with trial and error, which we've seen over the years. I actually started in property management while I was in college, worked for the university housing. Then I went into apartment complexes, leasing apartments in that route. So I've gotten a little bit of taste in a lot of different markets. Just over 8 years ago, I started in Boca Grande. I started as a rental agent. After 3 years, moved into management with a previous company. And then I made the shift over to Parsley just about 2 years ago. And since I've started, we've had one thing after another. We've had Hurricane Ian, which devastated our island. We had the COVID, it's a whole situation, which we all know, here, especially here in Florida, really hit the rental market dramatically. It kind of put everything on pause for quite a few months. And then once it came back in full force. Then 2 years ago, we also were devastated, or last year, we're right at a year, devastated by Hurricane Helene and Milton. So again, our market, we haven't had consistency. When I started on the island, I was told about all the norms. We have not seen those norms. We are just now getting back into a glimpse of that. So one of the biggest pieces of advice is to learn how to adapt, because you have to adapt to your surroundings. You have to adapt to the natural disasters. You have to adapt to all of the tides that come with vacation rentals, because we know how quickly those shift, how quickly that market shifts. So being able to adapt and still have that optimism of what's coming next and trying to find the tools to best get you ready for that, I think is the biggest and very general piece of advice.
So you've been in property management a long time. You've just been the manager here for a couple of years. So tell me this, what do you think property managers need to know about moving their people who they see, maybe they're reservationists right now, or they see, maybe they're working in housekeeping, but they see that, the management possibility. What do you think the best route is for them to promote people from within?
Personality, I think, guides everything. So we look at our team and we see everybody's strengths, but we keep in the mindset of it is a team foundation, because each team member is going to have their own skills, and every vacation rental department needs each and every one of those skills. You need somebody who's more analytic. You need the people who are so customer service oriented, especially in a luxury setting like ours. You have to have that customer service. You have to have that white glove, top notch, no error customer service. So having that personality to go the extra mile, to truly care about people, I think is bottom line. And that's one of the things that we find in our team where we can promote from within, we can continue to build those skills, is based on that personality. If they have that drive to just truly do what's in the guest's best interest, the homeowner's best interest, it's inevitable that they're going to continue to climb, because the more responsibility you have, the more they can do for others.
Let's talk about disasters, because you've been through a whole bunch of disasters. What advice would you give property managers to prepare for disasters? What do you think is most important there?
So every time you go through one, you're going to learn something new to prepare for the next time. Communication is key. So making sure that our homeowners, in terms of preparation for storms, truly we're in communication with guests, but our seasonal interests, we don't have quite as many guests during the summer as we do during the holiday season. So we don't have as many people in place for the hurricane season, in truth. So if there is a storm coming in, those communications with the guest are fairly simple. We're phone calls, we're emails, we're text messages to keep people alert. This is what we're looking at. The biggest communication is with homeowners because, again, we are taking care of their home. We're protecting a massive asset for them. So that communication of, hey, we're going to be preventative. We like to be precautionary. So we start our hurricane preparations for our homeowners because we also have property management. Or what we call home watch services, which not everybody on our island typically does. Where we can go in, we'll get the home prepped. So we have thorough checklists that we share with the homeowners. If there's anything specific, they can add into it. And we have this checklist available to them. We take photos. We've learned we take photos before. So that way, if they need them for insurance purposes, we try to cover every base we could potentially think of that they may need. And sometimes we run into situations that we've never had before. We've had unprecedented event, one after the other, the last few years. So we've learned, okay, photos before and after, walkthrough videos, detailed checklists that are now all automated. And we do these more in advance. So if we know the home is potentially going to sit vacant for 4 to 6 weeks during these summer months, it's less work to do in the moment of panic to get ready a few days before. We're going to do it 6 weeks before if we know it's going to be sitting vacant. We utilize our time properly to make sure that everybody's prepared because our team needs to prepare their own homes too in those situations. So it's kind of balancing all of that, but utilizing the time, that communication with homeowners. We send out the email and say, hey, we've prepared your home. You don't have guests coming in. If there's a guest, fantastic. We'll move it all back out. No qualms about it. But we like to be as prepared as possible. And the homeowners, that way they feel comfortable going into a storm as well.
Oh, that's awesome. That is great.
Because if they're not comfortable going into the storm, it just leads to more panic after the storm. Because we're on an island. There's one way on and one way off. And there's 3 bridges to get to the majority of the island. So with these last few storms, we were delayed getting on by days. And the longer it takes to get back on the island to check their homes for them, the more that panic and that stress collects. The higher that panic level sets. The more comfortable they are going in, the more comfortable they are after the fact, which truly just makes our relationship with our homeowners that much stronger in the long run.
What do you think that you do differently than other property managers when it comes to, after the hurricane, communicating with your guests? I mean, with your owners, not your guests. Everybody does the same thing.
The guests are always at home. With the homeowners, one of the things we really try to do is we go through each and every property. So we have a team these past hurricanes. Our team right now is 3, but we have a group of realtors and other people involved in our business that came out and helped. So actually we have 4. But we go widespread into every property. We take as many photos and videos as we can, and then as quickly as possible, get that information to the homeowners via email, photos, the best option to get them that information the quickest way possible. But again, that relationship is based upon trust. And that's one of the greatest things I think we have with all of our owners at this point is we have a really high trust level that they know their home's taken care of. So it's not imperative that they hear back from us as soon as the hurricane hits, because we also set the precedent and the expectation of we may not have cell signal. We have to follow government orders, the fire department's orders on when we can get on the island. And so they're understanding of that, which is invaluable.
The Vacation Rental Show is proud to partner with Lynbrook, the experts in vacation payment solutions. Their comprehensive platform features guest ID, authentication, and mobile wallet support while directly integrating into your reservation system. With decades of experience, Lynbrook provides unmatched expertise in integrated homeowner payments, chargeback mitigation, and fraud protection for both you and your guests. Contact them online at lynbrookgroup.com to learn more. What do you think the most important part about growing in your particular market? What's the most important part there?
we have a little bit different of opinion with our business strategy versus others. Our island is kind of old school. It's a culture in which has been in place for a long time, but we try to be more forward thinking. We like to include more of the technology. We look at more of the analytics, and we look at how some of these technological tools can help us help the homeowners. Because again, even though our island does run on island time, the rest of the world doesn't. And when they're booking from home and they're doing all these things, we have to keep up with that. So we're a little bit more forward thinking, and we're a little bit more guest experience centric. So we really do want to focus on the guest experience, because again, that benefits the homeowner, because it's going to increase revenue, it's going to increase interest, it's going to increase the amount of guests who rebook on our island, because a lot of our island is repeat guests over and over and over again. And a big portion of that is word of mouth as well. So we want to make sure when a guest comes, every person they talk to, they tell them how wonderful it is, the house that they're at, that our team is fantastic, because we do try to treat everybody as family, as friends. That way they have that personal connection with us. And that makes a world of difference.
What other kinds of things do you do for guest experience? When I was reading about you, that's one of the things I read. Like, I was like, she's really into guest experience. Tell me about that.
So I am one of those constant contact kind of people. I remember names and I remember faces very well. So I actually had an email with a guest this morning who I worked with in years past, and she recognized my name this morning, and she was elated that she had finally found me. I mean, and we've taken steps to make sure people see where I made that shift to, because anytime you make a shift, that happens. But I truly value the relationships of people more than their money. So I really do go out of my way to send text messages and emails and make phone calls in my own free time to facilitate those relationships with people who started as guests. And then they become, because again, that familiarity is, especially on an island with such a small community, invaluable. So we do, in terms of the business sense, we have an app for the guests to come in and check in with us. It is a small island, so we have a lot of daily visitors. We have newsletters that go out pretty frequently. We try to stay active on social media, but it is truly just that one-on-one contact, being involved in the community, seeing everybody at the events, because small community, people are going to come to these events, especially during the season. And so that's kind of my goal, is just continue building the simple relationships, the foundational relationships, and helping them where I can. So if that's vacation rentals, that's wonderful. If it's making dinner reservations or getting their groceries or booking a car service from the airport, we're happy to do all that, whether they're renting a property or not. It's just doing what's in the best interest of the people around us. And it's worked out so well for us over the last few years.
What do you think drives your high return rate?
I would say our staff. Just the level of service that they can get by calling. They know myself, they know my partner, they know the business owners, not just in that transactional state, but on a friendly basis. We go to church together. They see each other out at dinner. Just all the things that make a community a community. There's more familiarity, but we 100%, I think, is our staff, our customer service, because a home is a home. And some of these homes are incredible. Some may be more dated, some have charm, some are more modern, where you're not getting the same old school charm that you used to get on the island. But when it comes down to it, the house is the house. It's the staff. It's the attention that you get. It's the personal interaction that brings people back over and over. I mean, you always have the analytical side or the financial side of properly priced homes, all the amenities that go with it, gift bags that go home with them, all of those things play in. But I think the number one thing is our staff and how they're treated.
How do you train your staff to treat guests the same way they would family?
I think that is something that you're partially, I wouldn't say born with by any means, but that's something that comes with our island, and especially with our island, because we do have celebrity clientele. We have this level, we have a different, except when you're working with luxury clients and luxury homeowners, you're dealing with celebrity status, you're dealing with political figures, you're dealing with people that some people are afraid to talk to or that get treated differently. Our island has a common goal of you treat everybody the same way you treat everybody else. It's not a fanfare kind of situation. And that's hard to do. Not everybody can do that. And so when it comes to training, it's that kind of, I don't even know if you can train it to a degree. It's something that you learn over time. And the more experience you have with the clientele and in those situations, the stronger your skills are. But my partner, who's with me now, has been on the island for 20 some years, working since she was a teenager. So those are skills we pick up over time and through interaction. I don't know how to train that truly. It's just one of those things that you either the knack you have or you don't.
What is the biggest challenge that you have as a property manager?
Right now, it's the market. Truthfully, when there's not a whole lot of battles. Each and every day is different. You have different things that pop up every day. I would say back when it was COVID, during that time frame, it was mentality of people. So there was so much frustration. Now the more the frustration is lying in the market and an influx of properties coming in. We are seeing, because we've had so many hurricanes, we're seeing this delay in people booking. So I think that's the hurdle right now. And we've had to get creative. We've had to get creative in pricing and how our pricing structure looks like, what tools we're using to benefit the homeowner and to keep the revenue coming in to release some of that frustration. But we're hoping and praying over the next few weeks that we don't have any hurricanes. At that point, we will throw a party. But I think that will relieve a lot of frustration and a lot of tension of what's to come. Because with multiple hurricanes and all these natural disasters over the years, in the market itself, we know these national trends are showing smaller booking windows. We know what they're showing. So combating that is the biggest kind of hurdle at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to ask how much did it shorten your booking window? The last 2, yeah.
Our typical booking window for season, so for January, February, March, New Year's timeframe, is usually a year in advance. When they're here for the season, they're already booking for next season before they leave. Summer, usually 4 to 6 months in advance. Right now, it got as short as 2 weeks during the summer months. Right now, we have more bookings during season or more availability during season than we typically would, than we have in years past. But we're expecting that to become flooded, the inquiry base to flood over the next few weeks once we get past kind of early to mid-October, hoping and praying that what we're expecting will happen, and that'll flood back in. But we definitely saw that booking window shorten because, again, if we were looking 3 or 4 years ago, you would have seen these 95% booked out by June, July. Now we're looking at October to finish out that booking period. So we are seeing quite a delay, whether it's season or off season.
So how do you combat that with not lowering your prices so much that you do some really weird things to your market? For real.
So instead of decreasing rates necessarily, we've gotten a little bit more creative. So we started with the length of stay pricing. We've gone a couple different routes rather than just saying, hey, let's decrease. In some cases, we do need to decrease. We don't want to have to do that, but that is the reality of the situation with some of these homes. But in the general sense, we've employ different tools. So that length of stay pricing makes a world of difference, where we can capitalize on a full week or what the homeowner is expecting by booking a shorter time frame. So the length of stay does make a big difference. We've also gotten away from our traditional norms. So where it usually was Saturday to Saturday, it doesn't quite work for the clientele anymore. Travel days are different, flights are different. So we've made that more flexible as well. And so we have seen an increase in days booked and the revenue for the homeowners by simply getting creative, finding alternative ways of kind of changing things up without having to drop the rate and by anything outside of the norm. So by 1% or 2%, rather than having to drop it by 20 to get the attention, we're finding different ways to grab the attention to make it easier for the guests to book, easier for the guests to travel, and allowing shorter stays, changing those time frames. That makes a world of difference.
Is there any other advice you'd like to give property managers?
Just enjoy it. Every single day is different. And I've always had a phrase that we joke about: if you're ever bored, you're not doing something right, because there's always something else to be done. there is always something else that you could do, something else you can enhance. So if there's ever a day you're sitting there and you're bored, check it because there's something that could be done differently, could be done better. But enjoy every second of it with that cautiously optimistic is how I like to phrase it. But always looking toward what's coming next. It can always be better.
If people want to reach out to you because they have questions, would you mind that?
Of course.
How would they reach you?
So the easiest way to get in touch with me is by email or by phone. So my email is casey@pbgrandwithme.com. I'm on it 24/7.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
This episode of the Vacation Rental Show was brought to you by Lynbrook. To find out more about how Lynbrook Group can help grow your vacation rental business, visit lynbrookgroup.com. Make sure to search for The Vacation Rental Show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, or anywhere else podcasts are found, and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. On behalf of the team at Inhabit, thanks for listening.